I don't know if Maresca is going to be the guy to win Chelsea Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, but I do kind of like him. I think I've probably made my position clear on that. But I've been concerned with certain elements of his management of late, and I must say, going into this Benfica Champions League game midweek against Jose Mourinho, the narrative is dripping. He's come out and he said the right things. He has. He did a press conference, he admitted faults in his decision making, the fact how he's still growing as a coach, which I suppose makes sense. This is only his second season in top flight management. But he waited for the right moments to say these things. He didn't come into the press conference with an agenda. He came in kind of chilled, relaxed, and he waited for the journalists to put questions to him about actually the good record and what's going on. And it made me feel better. I'm not, it would take so long for me to be totally convinced with a Chelsea manager at the moment, especially in what is such a volatile environment at the club, and it has been for 3 years. It's so tough. And there's something else I want to show you guys in a minute, a graphic I pulled from The Athletic, but I'm going to react to it today, what he said, and we can preview the Champions League game together and have a good time. So thank you for joining me. I'm really grateful to have you all here with me. If you want to support the content, all you need to do is just like and subscribe, really. Also, you can drop the hype points down there. Not entirely sure how much that helps us content creators, but you are all welcome to subscribe. Hit the bell if you do, because I upload every day. And we're genuinely very, very close to 200,000. And you could be that viewer that goes, you know what? Let's be one of the difference makers. Let's be one of the new subscribers to Football Therapy. So, thank you for that. Look, you know what? Let's start off with this graphic that I've pulled from The Athletic, because I know we are going to speak about Maresca admitting he's wrong in his tactics, which many of you will welcome, by the way. We're going to speak about also the record and what's going on and how we need to change. But before we do that, I do want to show you this graphic about, and I know it's been done to death, the age profile, but it is really interesting for Chelsea's recent and really successful history. So this is, as you can see, a graph here, a line graph of Chelsea's average age profile in the squad since 1999 until present day, from left to right. Now, if you look at the 03-04 to 05-06, of course, the introduction of Roman Abramovich at Chelsea, you can see he got really quite low to average age of 25.7. Abramovich coming in, buying loads of new players, and of course Mourinho coming in. So it's the synergy here is profound, and of course we had excellent success. Now, if you look between 05 and really 09-010, was that the Ancelotti double season? For each of those seasons, it spikes right up, and that is the golden generation of Chelsea Football Club. That is, I'm just gonna make this smaller slightly. That is your I'm all over the gaff here. It's all mirrored. That is your Lampards, your Terrys, your Drogbas, your Czechs, all dem, man. So they grow up together, yeah, and they become this golden generation sort of around here. Yeah, you can see it goes right up to the top. A squad stays together. They become very, very good and very strong. And of course, since then, it's fluctuated up and down. But that was the period, really, right until sort of 2012 when we won the Champions League. And then from then, it's been sort of sporadic. A Mourinho return, a Conte league win. That's been it, really. And of course, Tuchel working wonders with the likes of N'Golo Kante in midfield. But since then, if you look right at the end here, the average age has absolutely plummeted. Now, I'm not saying you should disagree or agree with that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is facts. And it's so tough. I know the new ownership and sporting hierarchy at Chelsea believe youngsters are undervalued, and maybe to a degree that's true, but they have massively undervalued experience, which I think every Chelsea fan would agree with. But what this graph does show you is that a relatively competitive Chelsea, and we'll speak about that in a moment, have by far the youngest squad around. These children will grow up. They will inevitably a day will go past and they will be a day older. If provided they just don't keep selling the young players and bringing in young players forever, if they do truly believe in keeping Steval, Palmer, Colwill, Caicedo, Fernandes, if they want to keep these players will grow older, they will become better, they will become wiser, they will become more experienced. And although I don't imagine to see a spike like you saw in the golden generation between 03 and 012 or whatever with, the Chelsea superstars, although we won't see that much because they will bring in younger players, which will bring the age down, I do still think the average age will plateau closer to like mid-late 20s, and then we will see teams that are more settled at Chelsea. The model dictates there will always be chaos. We need to accept that. But what that graph dictates is you need a bit of age and experience. I'm hoping. Of course, Kukurea is not going anywhere. He's like 27. There are some other players as well, like some bank. Reece James, 26. Reece James is going to be at Chelsea till he's 30 at least. Touch wood. And then we will see recurring themes, I think, in terms of experience and not hot-headedness and silly red cards. Although one of those I did say recently, those red cards, we talk about young age profiles, it came from a 27-year-old and a 26-year-old. But still, I wanted to show you the age profile stuff, literally there in data, because I think it's very, very interesting, and it kind of shows you that's on the owners and directors, but that shows you what Maresca is working with at the moment. Now, so Maresca did basically throw his hands up. We'll speak about that in a moment. But in the last 6 months at Chelsea, half a year, and I know there was a summer break. Well, I say there was a summer break. There was the Club World Cup where we're supposed to be having a summer break, but we continued playing competitive games. So actually, it's 6 months of a lot of football. Chelsea have lost 5 games in 6 months. Yeah, Chelsea have lost. You could say only 5. That's about right. Considering all the games of football, if Chelsea's an elite team, yeah, maybe they could lose. I mean, maybe that would be quite a good return, 5 games in 6 months. But the truth is, 4 of those 5 games, 80% of those games, Chelsea had red cards in. And that leaves one defeat. In the final, in that 6 months, that Chelsea lost 11-11. And what game was that? It was Bayern Munich away in the Champions League recently. That was the only game in the last 6 months that Chelsea lost 11-11. Incredible, really. Incredible, really, when you think about it. When you look at it like that, it's pretty wild. And now, that's huge. That's so far in this video. Just hit 8 minutes. I've basically, I suppose, defended the Chelsea manager in terms of showing you in that age graphic and telling you that stat about only 1 loss in 6 months with all the men on the pitch, and that was Bayern Munich away. And I think we played okay. We lost 3-1 in the end, but I think we were okay at points. It was silly mistakes. It was like a Chalobah own goal, and I think actually, if memory serves, it was so recently, but so much has happened since. All 3 of the goals we gifted to them. I think it was a penalty, Chalobah own goal, and was it Malo Gusto played in Harry Kane? So we gave them all 3 of those goals. The only really good goal in that game was Cole Palmer's. So that was the only game we lost 11 versus 11. But has Maresca been perfect? No. Because he's not the best coach in the world. It is his second season in top flight management. He's not going to be that good purely out of lack of experience. And this is kind of like marries up with the how young the squad is as well, right? So I'm pleased. We're going to build a lineup for Benfica in a moment, but I'm so pleased that he basically, in the press conference where he comes in, and understandably and rightly, everyone's talking about Jose Mourinho, because that's what we're doing. We're playing Mourinho's Benfica. There was quite literally a picture of Mourinho holding the Premier League with the 3 fingers up, 3 Premier Leagues next to Maresca's head. And it was like, Mourinho was so important to Chelsea's transformation. Correct. All of that's true. Mourinho is my favourite all-time manager. I've lost a lot of love for him purely because he couldn't wait to get that Man United job, and he basically went back on his word and managed Tottenham. So I've like lost that sort of undying, like, fearsome Chelsea love for him, because I'm just I know it's a bit old school that with the Tottenham thing, but that's just how I feel. But he's my favourite manager to watch. He's absolutely box office. I think the story of football, he's much better than Pep Guardiola. I know Guardiola is like the most influential coach tactically, but Mourinho is the story. He's the theatre. He's the box office. Love it. Yeah. So absolutely speaking about him. So in a press conference where he's the main story in many ways, Maresca, like, obviously, and I'd say rightly, had the humility to talk about how he reviewed these two games, because they kept asking about the red cards. Like, how are you going to win if your players keep giving you, getting sent off? Like, kind of like trying to sort of help him out a little bit. Like, how your players keep getting sent off. And he basically said, look, I reviewed the two games, Man United loss and the Brighton loss, and he basically said, my bad, even though it's Trevoh Chalobah and Rob Sanchez is bad predominantly, and I think we'd all agree with that. Don't get sent off. You need to be fair, 11 versus 11. That's fine. But I think kind of even like Maresca believers was like, well, he absolutely sugared the bed at Old Trafford. And he was. I mean, I looked back at my match review. I said, I understood. I said, yeah, fair enough. I understand Stev for Gusto, and that was that more heavily criticised sub. And I think I was wrong to say fair enough. I was thinking, we were winning. We need a bit more experience, someone to put their foot on the ball a bit more. But Gusto dropped an absolute stinker, and it's up to Maresca to know that Gusto's in bad form, basically. So it is down to him. So he basically, Maresca admitted it's his fault. He reviewed the two games, and he said, I should have been better with my decisions. He says, look, it's a learning process for me. I need to learn to play better with 10 players. And I joked about this. I was like, what, is he going to have to learn every friggin' game 2 tactics plans? I'll spend, half the week planning, or we play bloody all the time at the moment, but let's say you've got no midweek game. I'll spend half the week planning the tactics for 11v11, and then when, I'll spend the other half of the week planning for when we get a man sent off. Managers just simply do not do that. Maybe there's a little bit of a generic plan of, right, this is our default. Look, there's a default shape if we go down to a man. All general tactics go out the window, but we've drilled something. Seemingly Chelsea have drilled nothing for 10 men. He just sort of panics in the moment. And that's a flaw. And I think he's admitted that. He says, look, for me also it's a learning process to play with 10 players. But, for any manager, it's not normal sometimes when this happens. True. And we've had way too many red cards. But I think it is a learning process for him, and maybe he should be like, right, you know what, we might be playing this kind of way, these passing channels against this opposition, but no matter what, if we go down a man, and we're in a position to keep playing like that, we go, you just play in this way no matter what. It's a default drilled way. Maybe we do need that. I know that's you're almost tempting fate, isn't it? It's like tempting fate to go for someone to get sent off. But, it is a nightmare. I'm pleased he threw his hands up and went, I basically screwed up in those games. Because good. Good. Have humility. Say I'm going to get better. I did it wrong and I will improve. That's what I think all managers should do. I mean, Mourinho would never do that, obviously, but that's part of his own mystique. But for someone like Maresca, he needs the humility to do that. And indeed, he did it. Right. Cool, so we've covered the press conference. I showed you the athletic graphic. Should we try and build a lineup for a bit? Firstly, Mourinho's come in. He's played a few games at Benfica managing. He plays a 4-2-3-1. Alright? Look, listen to CFC Central and London is Blue for detailed opposition analysis. It's Mourinho. He's going to play. He's away from home. He's returning to Stamford Bridge. He's going to go physical. He's going to play a relatively robust 4-2-3-1, I think, or a 4-3-3. So what are we going to do, eh? We heard that certain players need to be assessed in terms of availability. But Robert Sanchez is going to be in goal. You can bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow he'll be in goal. Cucurella apparently needs to be assessed. Oh my giddy. Well, Chalobah. Chalobah can play this game, yeah? So he will, as far as I'm concerned. Where is he? He's banned for Liverpool, so he'll play this game. Yeah? Simply, he will play this game. Left centre back, I wonder if Badiashile would try and play him into form, but we don't want to redline him in case we need him in the Liverpool. I mean, we're playing Liverpool. We're going to try and win. Can we really just play a Champong and Hato against Liverpool and play Badiashile and Chalobah here? I mean, I think we try and give 60 minutes to Badiashile and see if we can play him into form. Just see what he does. You know, some European football might suit him. And boom, suddenly you got a left footer, a left centre-back. You got a right footer, a right centre-back. And that's actually, you know, fit for purpose, as it were. Okay, so now this is going to get trickier. I think Gusto really stank the gaff out. I mean, imagine if he plays a Champong as well at right back. It'd be so many. So that would be silly. We need to rely on him for... I do genuinely think we need to rely on him for Anfield. Right, so I don't think Gusto. Reece James, I'm sorry, bro. You're going to have to play. You're going to have to play all the time. He did seem to look good. He played like 101 minutes or whatever recently. He looks like he's back, which is a huge positive. And then similarly, I suppose... You could play Hato or Cucurella, I think, because we need points on the board in the Champions League. We got no points. It's a home game. You got to win your home games. It's got to be Marc Cucurella. He's just got to play. I mean, that's a good back line. That should beat Benfica in the home game in the Champions League at the moment. It should. Oh, it's going to get tough. It's going to get tough. You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. Caicedo needs to be monitored. I wonder, if Lavia would start this game. I am going to play. This is just me vibing, yeah? I'm vibing. I'm vibing Caicedo. Yeah? Caicedo. And I'm going to put in Lavia for a start. See if he can do... He came off the bench before. Let's see. Wait, is he in the Champions League squad? I'm not sure he is. Just checked. He is. He's in there. He's in there. Right. So we are going to do... Yeah, we're going to do an in-possession thing. Although Reece James looked really good holding the width. Okay, I'm going to do it my way. Yeah? I'm going to do it my way. Reece James is going to be the width holder. Right foot Chalobah is going to play right centre-back. Badiashile, he's going to do the Tosin / Colwill role with passing. He has got good passing. Cucurella tucks in left centre back. We have a box midfield here. Yeah, a box midfield, and the box midfield is going to look a little something like this. Lavia and Caicedo in possession, and then we are going to see. I'm gonna play him. Stebal in the right pocket. Reece James, I want to see that in and out. Reece James going in and out of Esteval. I believe that will be really good. I do in that case. You could be... Fernandez has been in good form. Again, I'm going to start him. Try and get the job done. And then Santos can come on for him, or Buonanotte. I don't think he is in the Champions League squad. Which leaves two things. I do think Neto looks tired. So I'm going to play Fernandez's Argentine teammate and give him a Champions League start in Alejandro Garnacho. Is he in the squad? I need to check. Yes, he is. Garnacho. The only tough thing here is a striker. We could genuinely here. I know he's been tired, but maybe he'll do less running on the wing. If João Pedro isn't available, which he might not be, we could see Neto. I know Tariq George has played there as well. But we haven't seen Pedro Neto doing that. And then he could run around and false nine it. I'm not sure we need that, though. João Pedro came to Chelsea to play in the Champions League, though. That's like what he said, So where is he? So I'm going to put João Pedro in. I'm going to say he passes the fitness test. And then, of course, we just try and go over the line. You take him off. Maybe, I think would he be in the squad? Registered in the squad, I think. So you could bring him off. Santos on. Neto on. I do think Neto, he might likely start over the likes of Garnacho. But that's what I would do. This is what I would do. And then you could bring on Santos's hopefully we're winning to do Gu's or Neto's, who looks tired, and stuff like that, basically. But that is a capable defence, and of course Reece James coming back to create a back four. And out of possession, it's pretty simple, really. It's just this out of possession. It's a 4-2-3-1 starting. But of course, you see usually the two presses. It won't be Fernandez because there could be Garnacho, but I don't think he's. I think it might literally be like something like this: Estevao and the Brazilians pressing out of possession, because it's usually a 4-4-2. You see two front players pressing. And I'm just going to go for any Chelsea win. I'm not going to do a score prediction. We need 3 points. It's absolutely imperative we get 3 points on the board for this game. And maybe I'll do a score prediction. Why not? It's a bit of fun. I'm going to say Chelsea win. We're not defensively resolute. We were so good defensively for ages. You could do nils against us. But I do think even at home, they're good for a goal. I'm going to say just 2-1 Chelsea. 3 points on the board. Mourinho's return. And I'll take it all the way to the bank. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for leaving them. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And I do hope to see you back here on Football Therapy very soon. Remember, you could be the difference to 200,000 subscribers. All right, take care. Peace.